Hello and welcome to My Safety Hub, your go-to source for all things health and safety. I'm Dylan Steyn, and in our previous video we uncovered the SOP for safely accessing a DB board. I highly recommend giving it a watch if you haven't watched it already. In today's video, we will be breaking down those SOP sections further to provide you with more information on the structure's content. I'll be breaking these videos up into multiple parts so that we can go through these SOPs together. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon so you can stay updated with all our latest videos. I'll be going through the free SOP template that we provided in the video description. Download it and follow along. Number 1. Scope and purpose. Let's start with the scope. This Safe Operating Procedure, or SOP, outlines the necessary steps and precautions for safely accessing and working with distribution boards. It aims to protect the health and safety of personnel involved in these tasks while minimizing the risks of electrical hazards, environmental harm, and property damage. This procedure applies to all individuals tasked with accessing and handling distribution boards and associated electrical components. Here we can see that the scope acts as a precise map outlining those SOPs' territory. It specifies who the SOPs applies to, roles, departments, or contractors, what equipment or situations it covers, and where it is applicable. This ensures the SOP is relevant and targeted, avoiding confusion and maximizing its impact. Next up is the purpose of the SOP. In this case, the purpose of the SOP is to: Number 1. Ensure the safe and efficient access and operation of distribution boards. Number 2. Mitigate the risks associated with accessing a distribution board, including but not limited to biological, electrical, environmental, ergonomical, fire-related, physical, psychosocial, slip, trip and fall, and thermal hazards. Number 3. Provide clear guidelines and instructions to promote consistent adherence to safety protocols and best practices. Number 4. And finally, to foster a culture of safety awareness and accountability among all employees involved in accessing a distribution board. This SOP serves as a reference guide for personnel involved in accessing distribution boards and should be followed diligently to prevent accidents, injuries, and operational disruptions. As we can see, the purpose statement explains the why. Why is this procedure necessary? What goals does it need to achieve? For instance, an SOP titled Lockout Tagout of Distribution Boards with a purpose of ensure the safe and efficient access and operation of distribution boards leaves no room for ambiguity. Number 2. Authority and responsibility. This section is all about ownership. Clearly define who is responsible for each step of the procedure. Accountability is key for effective implementation. Let's tackle each heading in the section 2 of the SOP together. First, we have authority. The authority for implementing and enforcing this SOP lies with the Health and Safety Department, in accordance with relevant regulations and organizational policies. The Health and Safety Department is responsible for overseeing all the activities related to accessing a distribution board and ensuring compliance with safety standards and procedures. Next, we dive into the responsibility heading, where we take a look at the responsibility of each of the following groups: management, operations, safety officers, and maintenance personnel. This SOP states that each of these roles are necessary for ensuring safe access to a DB board. First, let's look at management. The facilities manager is responsible for providing the necessary resources and support to implement this SOP, designating qualified personnel to carry out tasks related to accessing a distribution board, conduct regular inspections and audits to ensure compliance with safety protocols, and then lastly, investigate and addressing any safety concerns or incidents relating to accessing a DB board. Next up is our operators. This is for all personnel involved in accessing distribution boards, and is important to note that they are responsible for familiarizing themselves with this SOP and adhering to its guidelines at all times, using appropriate personal protective equipment or PPE as specified in this SOP, reporting any safety hazards, equipment malfunctions, or near misses to their supervisor immediately, and participating in training sessions to enhance their understanding of safe practices for accessing distribution boards. Our safety officers also has a role to play in this SOP. The safety officer and safety committee are responsible for assisting in the development and review of this SOP to ensure its effectiveness, providing guidance and support to personnel regarding safety procedures and best practices, conducting regular safety inspections and risk assessments to identify any potential hazards and implement corrective actions, and collaborating with management to investigate accidents or incidents and implement preventative measures. And lastly, the SOP states that the involvement of your maintenance personnel. Maintenance staff are responsible for performing regular maintenance checks on distribution boards and associated equipment to ensure proper functioning and promptly addressing any equipment defects or failures to prevent accidents or disruptions to operations. By clearly defining the authority and responsibility of each stakeholder involved in accessing a distribution board, this SOP aims to establish accountability and ensure the effective implementation of safety measures. The final section we'll tackle today is the risk assessment summary. This is where our risk assessment from OSH Online is summarized. This highlights and summarizes all the hazards and risks identified within your risk assessment. This is a very useful way to communicate your risk assessment to your employees. If you want to learn more about conducting a risk assessment, consider having a look here. By conducting a task-based risk assessment through OSH Online, you get access to over 3,000 preloaded tasks and their accompanying control measures. An easy-to-use risk matrix to ensure you score your risks without any hassles, and the ability to build your SOPs using the conducted risk assessment, all in the cloud-based platform that can be accessed from anywhere. In today's video, we will be tackling the first three sections of the SOP for accessing a DB board. We clearly understand the scope and purpose of the SOP. We understand what authority is needed to access the DB board and what key roles need to be in place to ensure safe access. And lastly, how to pull through the risk assessment summary where you can see your hazard and risk statements and risk level all in one place. In next week's video, we'll continue our way through the free SOP. Remember to download it using the first link in the description so you can follow along. If you found today's video helpful, please consider leaving a like and sharing it with your colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe as to never miss another My Safety Hub video. Feel free to ask any questions or share any insights you might have in the comment sections down below. We go through them and respond to all of them. And as always, stay safe, stay inspired, and until next time, take care.